Hi. Happy Tuesday to you all. I'm gonna wait for people to come and join us today. So this is Qendresa. I am Influencer Marketing Director at EvenSkyn, and today we're gonna have a discussion with Christa, who is a very special influencer that we have worked like few years ago. She has been testing. She was one of the first people to start testing the EvenSkyn Lumo device, and then she has tested the Venus, and she has worked on a few reviews about the product. She has been sharing more information about the technology. So it has been quite a journey, and she has been creating so much content. So she is a content creator. She has been testing various products and talking about ingredients. So she was my go-to source whenever I was looking for content, and especially about ingredients. She is rosacea-prone skin. She has rosacea-prone skin. So whenever we had any question about a specific product in conjunction, for example, with a device, so it was really my go-to source for everything. So I'm gonna let Christa come and join with me on this live. We're gonna talk about, and I'm gonna let you guys come on in, drop questions. Please consider this live as an event for you to join and be guests here as well. Drop questions. Hello.
Hello, it's lovely to see you
Yes.
again.
Oh my God, it's been a while. We haven't been able to chat in any platform, so it's so nice to see you
Yes,
here.
yes. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello to everyone.
Hey, yeah. Hi, everyone. I see people joining here, but thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me. I really do appreciate. I know it's Thanksgiving. You have been away. We have been working around and trying to find a suitable time for both of us,
Yeah.
but really, I have seen your work for like since I've known you on your YouTube channel first, and you have been creating content all over different social media channel, and you have kind of given this value to the audience about safety and ingredients and layering, and especially about rosacea-prone skin, which
Mm-hmm.
not that many people talk about it. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
whenever I'm searching for some content, I need to go to some specific people in order to find something. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is Qendresa. I am influencer marketing director at EvenSkyn. And for anyone who doesn't know Christa, please make a quick introduction.
Sure. Well, pleasure to be here. Like I said, Christa Evelyn is my handle, the Christa Evelyn on Instagram and TikTok, and just Christa Evelyn over on YouTube. But you raise a good point. Really, I started my journey with my socials because of my frustration with my skin. I've had my worst skin in my 40s. I'm 48. I proudly share my age, but I had my worst skin in my 40s. I was not someone that dealt with teenage acne. So I kind of lived my whole life with okay skin
Mm-hmm.
and was really disappointed when I got into my 40s and was really struggling. Fine lines and wrinkles, dehydrated skin, rosacea, inflammation, and associated pimples and acne, etc. And I felt like I couldn't really find other people who talked about that. So I felt actually quite alone in that, which is why I created my socials to begin with, to sort of share my experience and hope that others can learn from the kinds of things that I've tried and I do for my skin.
Yeah, and especially when you have shared the before and after photos, and especially you mentioned like this was my
Yeah.
skin when I was 40, and this is my skin now. You were glowing, and I was like, wow, that is quite a journey,
Thank
and
you.
it's a
Yeah.
transformation because it is this concept that as you grow older, you're gonna look wrinkly and saggy and all that. But actually, there's many things that we can do in order to kind of reverse that process of aging
Yes.
or whatever we can do. So probably you can talk more about that. So for anyone who's going to be watching at this video probably later on, not during the live event, I want people to have some information. What did you do to kind of create that healthy, I would like to call this a healthy skin, because you have been working towards your skin needs. It's not about just putting products in your skin just because you have this product, but you have been doing things right because you're glowing.
Thank you. And that's the struggle with rosacea is it is cyclical. You can have triggers in your skin, some that you're aware of and some that you're not. So you can have great skin for a week. I could be fine. I'm actually going on vacation in the south, so I'm already worried. What's that sun and heat going to do to my skin? How's my rosacea going to react? So yeah, it's finding a balance. And I like when you use the term healthy skin because I mean, I joke about it. I'll even post videos. You can see videos of me saying like, oh, me trying to get glass skin or some of these unattainable goals. That's not very realistic, but I think we can all sort of strive to achieve our own version of healthy skin. And that's really what I had done as well. You asked what I did to achieve that. Well, I did a lot of things wrong to start. So sometimes knowing what not to do is equally as
Yeah.
important as what to do. I heard exfoliation was great. So I went in with a glycolic acid every night. For someone with skin like me, and for any of you out there who have sensitive rosacea prone
Yeah.
skin, don't do that. It's not a good
Yeah.
solution.
It's gonna, yeah,
Um,
you're gonna
it's
have
really,
more redness. Yeah.
yes, I wrecked my skin, which took months to recover from. So sometimes doing the wrong thing is a steep learning curve, and then you learn after that what are the types of things. So, yes, exfoliation is key, but for me, I exfoliate once, maybe twice a week. And that's the challenge I think that a lot of people face when they read a skincare product that the instructions might say, use nightly or use daily for great results. That doesn't necessarily apply to everyone. So it's so important to know your own skin and recognize that even though it may say this on the product label, that's not what
Yeah.
I should do for my skin. So I think that was a good learning curve as well. For me as well, going back to the basics is really key. The like simple cleansing, typically this is a problem for me because typically I should be using products that are fragrance free and because fragrance can be irritating for some people, but I really love fragrance. So
Yeah.
I still use products with fragrance in it because it makes me happy. So,
Yeah.
sometimes you do what you know you should do, and other times you use a product because you really like it. So I do that as well.
Yeah.
But because of doing Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, I test out products all the time. So I test out products that have fragrance in it, and my skin doesn't seem to react so badly to it.
Yeah.
So I'm really not one of those people that have to avoid it like the plague. So you kind of have to figure out what works for you and do more of that.
Yeah, and about fragrance, sometimes it's because it has fragrance or because it has very nice packaging. You're more like, okay, I'm gonna have my skincare routine now. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do
Yes.
that. It is kind of a motivation or something. I mean, I love good packaging. Like I love the design of products. So to me, that is something that I'm drawn to, and I love a good fragrance. But sometimes when it's so flowery or so fruity, that's not gonna be my type of product. So I try to kind of see if it has any fruits in it
Yeah.
in terms of fragrance. But to me, it was a hard thing trying to read labels. And I was watching content all over YouTube, people saying, okay, you turn and then you see the ingredient list. But it's so hard because like those are like very long names. How? Because you're also saying you test a few things to see if it works for you, and then you kind of do the same thing or probably try similar
Yeah.
things. How do
Yeah.
we learn to kind of see the ingredients and if it has the actives that we need or we don't need? Or for example, as you said, it's in the product, it might say you use this every day or
Yeah.
every night, but actually it could be too much for your skin. So how do we know this, or how do we navigate this process in finding the right schedule for our skin?
Well, it is really tough, and I feel like once you fall into the rabbit hole of skincare, like you're tumbling down a very long path because at first you don't know what hyaluronic acid is, and now you're talking about polyglutamic acid or all these azelaic acid. So, it is tough, but I think one thing you do have to trust is the formulation. That is actually more important even than the ingredients, because reading the ingredients on the back of any kind of product, yes, it tells you what's in it, but it doesn't tell you if it's a slow release, if it's an encapsulated version, if it's, you know, a derivative of something versus the active ingredient. Sometimes that can be hard to discern. So I think some trust must be placed into the brands, that their formulations have been tested, and you know, you can trust in that. So yes, I read ingredient lists, and I do know the ingredients that I love. For my skin, niacinamide is fantastic because it really helps with reducing redness and oil production in my skin. It helps with rosacea. Hyaluronic acid is in a lot of ingredients. It's a great humectant. Some say it's overused and overplayed, and that you don't necessarily need a standalone hyaluronic acid serum, but I get great benefits from that too, especially in the summer months where I live in Canada. It's very humid, and I find my hyaluronic acid serum works really well in that kind of climate. Of course, I'm a big retinoid fan, or a fan of retinol. And I couldn't talk about rosacea and not mention azelaic acid. It is the one ingredient that I can really say has changed my skin. Once I started incorporating over-the-counter products with azelaic acid in them, and there's a number of brands that have fabulous products out there, it really, you know, I see a marked difference in my rosacea. And that doesn't happen overnight. That's with, you know, 3 to 6 months of use, then I really started to see great benefit from it. I actually use a prescription strength azelaic acid as well. It's just the cosmetic elegance of prescription formulations just aren't quite as glamorous and user-friendly, really, as the over-the-counter options are.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you because about this special ingredient, I could say, because you have mentioned this a few times on your YouTube channel. And for anyone who is here, I would really encourage you to check Christa's YouTube and content, even like the short format, because your videos are super engaging and super fun, because like you go with a full energy in there and talking about, at the same time you're getting like education, and we're talking about ingredients and the safety of this, but you have talked about azelaic acid a few times and how this has changed your skin. And you also had a very elaborated video on how to layer this product and how this changed your skin. Can you talk more about that? Because we get questioned. Can I use this azelaic acid in conjunction, for example, with the Lumo and other devices? So you have more experience with that. So maybe you can talk more about this.
It's another reason to sing the praises of azelaic acid from the rooftops. It's just got so many benefits to it with people that have inflammatory skin. So people that are acne prone or rosacea prone like me, because it plays so well with other skincare ingredients, it really can fit into any routine. You can throw it in your morning routine with a vitamin C, which is my preference, to capitalize on antioxidants in the morning to really protect my skin throughout the day. And then in the evening, it pairs well with a retinoid as well. Now, I say that, but I always caution everyone, similar to my story about using a glycolic acid every night and it being disastrous. For anything, always put it into your routine on its own. So clear out your routine, try it, and see that your skin tolerates just that in your routine with a cleanser and a moisturizer, to be sure that when you throw something into a more elaborate routine, it's not the combination of things that your skin is reacting to. So I had used retinoids for years. When I first started with azelaic acid, I pared my routine back to the basics, brought it into my routine, saw that my skin had no issue with it, and then gradually increased how I used it, then started incorporating it into my more elaborate routines, and it was fine. Whereas sometimes, you know, I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I buy or get products and I'm like, get on my face. I want to try every single thing. I don't care if my skin flares up in the moment. I worry about that the next day. I just want to try everything. But that's not the way we should do. We should proceed with caution so that we can tease out which product was the problem, because you may be sensitive to one thing in one product, or it may be that you're combining it with other things.
Wow. Thanks for sharing this. Are going to find this very useful. And I want to know, how was your experience when you first got the Lumo and you started to incorporate this in your routine? Because it was like, as we recommend using, because the Lumo, it is a very powerful radio frequency device.
Yeah.
So you started once a week. Did you start to increase gradually, or how was your process with the Lumo? Because using skincare ingredients, it's one thing. Also incorporating another device in your
Yes.
skincare routine, it's another story. So I would love to know more about this.
Sure. Well, you talk about aesthetic packaging. The Lumo is like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so pretty on my vanity. So right there, you had me. But this was actually the first device I had ever used. So in a word, terrified. When I received it, I was like, oh gosh, I am really scared to use this because of my rosacea. I just hadn't done anything like this before. So I was a bit
Yeah.
worried and concerned. So I knew starting out, I was going to start at the lowest setting, and definitely lowest frequency, and just see how my skin tolerated, which was great. I really had no issue. And, you know, I tested the different modes in the Lumo. My preference is the all-in-one mode, which is the EMS photon mode, because that just targets everything in the skin. I'm not, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of electrical muscle stimulation. Like if I had my choice, radio frequency is relaxing and
Yeah.
soothing and
Easier.
lovely, like a spa day, and electrical muscle stimulation's kind of like, oh
It's a
my gosh, is
workout.
this, it's weird. This is weird. It's kind of like fitness,
Yeah.
right? I know this is good for
Yes.
me, but I don't like cardio. So yeah, that's sort of
Same
my
for the face.
philosophy. I need to do this, but I'm not sure if I like it.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think that was the right approach. Starting on the lowest setting, gradually increasing over time. My skin tolerates it very well. And in fact, you know, LED therapy, especially red light therapy for rosacea, there's lots of research out there, emerging research now too, really supporting its efficacy for rosacea as well. So the fact that you can do this in an at-home device is amazing.
Yeah. And especially after you're having a treatment with RF, you're gonna have a bit more redness. It also, like, the Lumo has a cooling mode, which in the end kind
Yes.
of helps to normalize and neutralize the whole heat that you get from the radio frequency. But also, if you're doing the EMS, it really is a bit of a weird feeling, because you're gonna get a bit of a twitch in there, because like your skin is going whoop.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
muscles are gonna go in a crazy active mode. But overall, it really helps with toning. So it makes sense. And you have mentioned this before, and I remember your video was like a spoiler alert. My favorite mode is the EMS with photon, because it combines EMS, photon, sonic vibration, and radio frequency all
Yeah.
at once. So you're getting blue light therapy, red light therapy, sonic vibration, and each one of those are giving you benefits. So you're going to have that long-term, let's say, anti-aging, skin tightening, or I'm going to say pro-aging, because I really don't like the word
That's right.
anti-aging.
Yeah.
But you're getting benefits all at once. So for so many people, Lumo, this is why the Lumo is their go-to type of device. But for
Yeah.
many people out there, it's going to be a different device for this, a different device for that. Have you
Yep.
continued to use different devices in testing, or was it the Lumo and then you
I
continue with your skincare routine more?
I still test out other devices, and that is the difference with other devices. They're usually standalone, so they just are radio frequency,
Mm-hmm.
or they're just electrical muscle stimulation, versus the Lumo having it as an all-in-one. There's something to be said for that, especially, you know, it depends on your lifestyle. You have to choose the device that kind of suits your skin needs, your skin goals, and your lifestyle. How much time do you want to spend using this device? How much time are you going to devote to it? You can use an LED mask, a separate device for electrical muscle stimulation, another device for radio frequency, and then it's even storing these things. And you know, how do you fit them into your routine? I would say that's one of the best features of the Lumo, is that it has that all-in-one feature that you can just be kind of one and done,
Yeah.
which suits my lifestyle. It's pretty busy and full on. I have 3 kids, so they're
Yeah.
very demanding as well.
Yeah. Of course. And plus above all of this, you're creating content for all different social media channels.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. So kudos for you. Like, I mean, you have been doing an amazing job out there and sharing so much information, which it's not about just testing products. You're actually analyzing, you're doing research for those ingredients and sharing more information, which is very nice.
Good.
It is kind of rare to find those influencers or content creators that are doing this genuine work. And I really appreciate it when I see such content coming for free on our social media account. So I want to ask, like, do you see social media and this educational combination as a good fit in for people like researching about products, but also combining this with marketing? Because my point is, like, we get so much marketing about different products, which is so hard for us to navigate and find which product do I need. So social media as a channel, it's an amazing kind of platform where you can find resource and information about the stuff that I need or the stuff that I don't need.
Yeah.
And you're getting so many people creating content, but it's so hard to navigate. So how do we find people that are actually sharing educational content for us? And how do we navigate in finding what ingredients and platforms are right for us? And what else do we need to kind of skip and avoid?
It's tough. It's like anything with social media. I mean, is there a hidden agenda behind what people are doing? And I know, there's a lot of people that believe that when an influencer or content creator works with a brand, they're a sellout. And I mean, obviously I don't see it that way because that's what I do. But I think it boils down to the people that you're following, that you have a genuine respect for and trust in what they're saying. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can only trust someone that's a certified dermatologist or doctor or whatever. I follow many, I trust many. But there's some that have different philosophies from me that I'm like, I would pick and choose that bit of information, but I would leave that aside. That wouldn't be for me. So I think we, just like in so-called real life, we have to be judicious on what the information is we're trusting. Do we trust the people that we're following to give us that information? And I guess recognizing that because a content creator works with a brand doesn't mean they're selling out. It means they get to work with a brand that they trust and love and want to share that with their audience. One of the key pieces to my social media strategy, I mean, I have a full-time other job, so this is a passion project for me. And so one of the things that I always wanted to make sure was that I'm giving my perspective. This is how the Lumo works on my skin. So that's what I'm sharing with you. I'm not telling you what to do. You take that information and extrapolate it and figure out, would this work for me or not? And same with my skincare routines and everything else. Like, this is the results I got. This is the experience I have. I hope I can save some people who do have sensitive and rosacea-prone skin, that not to maybe go down a path of ruining their skin with a product because I did it for you. So that's my ultimate goal. But yeah, I mean, that's simply my approach. But how I follow others is the kind of relationship you build with a content creator by viewing them and really using yourself as the litmus test. Like, does that resonate with me? Yes. Okay, I trust in what they're saying, versus something seems off there. Trust your gut in the end.
Yeah, and it is so true when you said, like, you get, like, brands are working with influencers to create content and you're sharing your own perspective in there. So to speak about how we work with influencers, in our case, it's, we want to push the product to as many people as possible to fit into the niche of pro-aging and talking about menopause and talking about, like, we have a specific age group that we are talking to this audience, and we're finding influencers and content creator as a channel to kind of educate the audience, but it has to be based on their experience. So for example, when you created the video, you were talking about rosacea-prone skin, how it affected you. I remember there was a video from one influencer, she loved the Lumo so much, but she had migraine, and whenever she used the EMS, it was triggering her migraine, and she was like, for anyone who has migraine and is using the Lumo, please be cautious. Like, use it in the lowest setting. And I love this pure
Huh.
kind of advice that she was sharing from her own experience, and it totally makes sense because she's gonna have people that resonate. For me, that I don't have a migraine, that's gonna be an information that probably I can share with other people. So really, you
Yeah.
have, and this advice is more about everything else. Like you have to be doing your own research about the ingredients and about the product and how much you trust the brand, and
Mhm.
at the same time criticizing the content that you're actually seeing. So then this way, when you make a decision, it is based on your, like, the information that you have, and also like the gut feeling that you mentioned.
Yes.
You know if it sounds right or if something is off. So that
Agreed.
is, yeah, that is something that it's going to make the process of making a decision about
Yeah.
products a bit more easier. Um, yeah, so except for azelaic acid and rosacea-prone for rosacea-prone skin, is there anything else that you would recommend to people that they could do to kind of maintain a healthy? You mentioned hyaluronic acid and niacinamide as ingredients, but if they're kind of just starting out, where would you suggest for people to kind of begin with?
Always start with your cleansing routine and your moisturizer, and then fill in the in between area with what you need by your concern. So for me, a cleanser needs to be hydrating, and I tend to shy away from really harsh or cleansers that would strip my skin. And in fact, in the morning, I only use water to wash my face, to cleanse my face. That was actually a free game changer for my skin, because I just always thought I should be using a cleanser morning and evening. And for some people, that is what you should do. If you have really oily, acne prone skin, or maybe you sweat a lot in the night,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, your skin might need a cleanser in the morning, but mine didn't. And when I moved to just using water to cleanse my face in the morning, game changer. So whatever your cleanser is in the morning, and for me, double cleansing in the evening, another big game changer, because I think I wasn't effectively cleansing my skin. And I think we also very much underestimate the power of cleansing. Having that clean face to then put the next steps of your skincare routine is just so important, and sort of underrated, I think, in my opinion. So double cleansing in the evening, and then a good moisturizer. So my preferred moisturizer is one with ceramides. I do like moisturizers that have peptides in them as well. They have great well-aging benefits. So once you have that in place for your morning routine and evening routine, then the other really big essential is a daily sunscreen. The sun is a big trigger for me. So if you can incorporate a daily sunscreen in your morning routine, you could even eliminate your moisturizer and just have your sunscreen if it's a hydrating one. That really also made a big difference in my rosacea skin, because I didn't realize how sensitive my skin was to the sun. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, we know it's one of the number one causes of premature aging. So you're
Yeah.
getting the pro-aging, well-aging benefit wearing a daily sunscreen, but also for rosacea, it's helping to minimize a big trigger that I have. So
Yeah. And what about devices, like except for the Lumo, which combines radio frequency, EMS, and LED? What else do you recommend as using, or how do you see rosacea and, for example, microcurrent or LED light therapy working together? Does it flare up or does it calm down?
yeah, the red LED therapy has been really helpful for me. So I will use a red LED mask
Mm-hmm.
almost daily. And that's an easy way to get red LED therapy in. It's only 3 minutes a day. So that to me has been really good for my rosacea skin, but again, also very good for well aging. And, you know, blue light therapy can be really good for those with acne prone skin as well. So it sort of depends on your skin concern and what devices you use. My favorite things are radio frequency, because it's kind of calming and soothing to do, and LED, red LED. If I had to just be on a desert island and only have two things I could use, it'd be those two, because it's a relaxing experience. I'm like team yoga, not cardio, team relaxing, not going hardcore. So that's just how I roll.
It makes sense. I mean, an LED face mask, you can just lay down and do
Exactly.
the treatment with radio frequency. You kind of have to hold the device, and like
Yes.
the Lumo, for example, it is wireless, so you don't need to kind of be with a cord in there, but like you can do anywhere the treatment. You
Yeah.
need a conduction gel, so you might need to have
Yes.
something
Yeah.
to kind of probably white up the gel or the conduction. But yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, but all of your tips and advices are coming like in this form of minimal steps so that it is easy for you to integrate, and things that are going to hydrate like peptides and hyaluronic acid and niacinamide, things that are easy to integrate. Like retinol would be kind of tricky for so many people,
Yeah.
especially if they have a sensitive skin. You need to kind of be cautious. You need to use an SPF all the time, but especially if you're using retinol. So
Yeah.
your recommendations are, I think it is so easy for people to understand, like where do I need to start? And I think it would kind of be the same advice for no matter the age group, right? Like you're
Yeah.
starting with simple cleanser. I mean, I love just water in the morning, and then in the evening I do a double cleanse as well.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that worked perfectly fine, even though I'm combination to oily skin.
Yeah.
So it worked perfectly fine. Whenever I was doing cleanse in the morning, it was kind of drying the skin a bit too much.
Yeah.
And then I was producing even more oil because like I was so dried up. So for me, until I realized that I don't need to cleanse in the morning, it was quite a journey. But also it was a process that I was something that I heard on internet. So from content that I was looking from influencers that I follow. And to me, that was quite a tip. So for people that already tested this, they have realized something that probably you don't need to kind of cleanse in the morning. That was a tip for me. So this is why I
Yeah.
find those channels like this live very important, because some people could be here that have similar skin condition. They find this information. It's like, okay, I can test this out. If it
Yes.
works for me, then I'm going to see results. So thank you so much for sharing this information
Good.
with us. I'm just going to check if there's any question. I saw a question here from one of the viewers coming, how to use the Lumo, and we have a video, tons of videos on YouTube about using the Lumo. So the Lumo is a RF-based device that has 5 different features included. You have red and blue light therapy. You have ENI, which is for product penetration. Ion, which is for deep cleansing. We have the EMS, which is for muscle toning, and then the cooling mode, which is to kind of neutralize the whole heat and shrink the pores. So we recommend using the device only once a week. We recommend starting with the lowest because it is a clinical power device. Yeah, we have those schedules, we have those minutes. It has an auto timer. So once anyone places an order for the Lumo, we try to kind of push this information out there. And this is why we also communicate with all of those influencers we work with, that it's not a device that you just get. You use it as much as you want to, because I want to have the best results out there, because our skin is not designed to work with as much as you push in, then it's just going to be the results overnight. You need to be consistent and you need to be patient, especially with radio frequency. It is a long-term journey in order to see results. So we have this information shared on our website, but also if you have anything specific in terms of how to integrate the Lumo, or can I combine the Lumo with other skincare products or other devices, please feel free to drop a message, and our team will be able to answer. Yeah, do you have anything that you would like to share? I'm going to check if there's any more question in the meantime coming.
I think you raised a really good point that, and I've said this before on other socials as well, more is not more. So, you know, when you get the Lumo, you might think, I want like top level, highest level, do it every day because I want the best skin. And so I think sometimes we feel that way with our skincare products too. Okay, I've got this retinoid, like I want to use it daily right off the bat because I want perfect skin. Slow and steady wins the race with skincare. I truly believe that. And you do have to give products a good 3 to 6 months to really see the benefit. Like I said, my experience with azelaic acid, but same with retinoids. It wasn't like it was an overnight success when I started using retinoids. And I started with retinol. And I use retinaldehyde now. So I've done videos explaining the difference on that, but that was also a key step in my journey. Will I ever go to tretinoin? I don't think my skin can really tolerate it, and I'm getting good results with the level I'm at now. So I'm happy with that. So it's kind of like with all things beauty and skincare, you don't have to go full tilt and go to the most to get the most out of it. Sometimes the least will give you the least over a longer term will give you a better result. Oh, I lost your volume there. I don't know if that's me or you.
You hear me?
Oh, there. Now
Yeah,
I
okay.
can.
Accidentally touched mute while I was looking for comments. So
Okay.
I 100% agree with that. And you also need to kind of test and learn for yourself to see what works, especially as you shared with your story. But I would recommend starting with as few products. So you're doing a cleansing, you're doing a moisturizer, and SPF. I would say like those three are the main steps for any skincare routine. And then whatever you need to address, you start to integrate those gradually. So this way you see if it works or if it doesn't. And then you don't kind of combine products immediately if you're not used to that, because you don't know if you're getting the results or the damage from one ingredient or the other. So then you do this in a more gradual and moderate way. There's a question I collected from comments when we have posted on social media, and it was, what do you use as a conductor? So the Lumo and other devices, mostly, especially if we're talking about microcurrent, you need to use a water-based product. But what do you use as a conduction?
I have conductive gels from other brands and other devices that I've been sent, but I've also, I grabbed it actually before I came up here. This was one of the better aloe vera gels that I've tried. It's like a pure aloe vera gel. So this one was the one that I think I first tried with the Lumo, and I always keep this on hand. I sort of buy it on repeat because I like to have it in the summer. I keep it in the fridge if by chance one of the kids gets a sunburn or something like that. So, but it works very well as a conductive
Yeah.
gel also. So, I think if you're using something from the brand, but really important because it just doesn't, you won't get the effect that you need because it needs that conductive layer to do its work in the deeper layers of the skin.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can use anything that is water-based. For example, the Lumo, you can even use it with water only if you don't tolerate using a conduction gel, especially because using EMS and the conduction, like as much conduction as you have, you're gonna feel the muscles even more. So you can use it with water only, or aloe vera gel, or hyaluronic acid. So anything water-based, you need to avoid oils because then you're going to block the conduction. Otherwise, it's going to be fine, whatever you use. And I hope we answered the question. And there was another question that I wanted to address is, does the new Lumo Plus have more radio frequency? No, it doesn't. So we came up with the new version, an updated version of the Lumo. It only has more powerful battery, it's fast charging, and we improved the sensors of temperature control. So it doesn't have more radio frequency. We don't go higher than that. Not at the moment with the FDAs and all the regulation. We don't do that for at-home devices because we need to be careful and consider how people are going to use those devices at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that is to be shared. And yeah, wow. I see we have talked for already like 40 minutes or something. So it always, like, whenever I'm in a discussion and we talk about skincare, I mean, I could talk about skincare all day long.
Me
but
too.
but I want to respect your time, and I want to let you go. But I want
Thank
to
you.
have more of those lives together with you in the upcoming weeks or months probably, and talk about beauty tech and talk about new things about skincare. But really, I want to say thank you so much for being here and for sharing information based on your experience, and talking about tips and advising people on how to do skincare right. So because it is, as we said, a bit of a tricky journey to find the right information for us here. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks everyone for joining, and I look forward to a future session as well.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you have more question, we're going to repost this video on our channel and add Christa as a collaborator, so you can find this video anywhere. But if you have more questions, feel free to drop them, and we'll be able to answer as comments in there. So then this way you have as much information as you need. Yeah, thank you, everyone. And
Thank you.
yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.